Hi everyone. Well, it's been 2 weeks and one day since we arrived in Guaymas. We are both starting to feel a little better from our colds, but it just seems a slow recovery process. Today we are at Costco in Hermosillo. We're going to buy little Christmas gifts to give out, and it's kind of a treat for us to do this. Our closest Costco is in Hermosillo, the capital of Sonora, 2 hours north of the yard. The route is a familiar one, as it is on the way to the airport. This year, having no guests flying in, we thought early morning on Thursday, the 19th of December, would be early enough to shop before the Christmas rush. When we give gifts, we try to give something useful and representative of California. Since we originally came from Kern County, a big producer of pistachios, we hit upon the idea of giving bags of pistachios. Based on last year's response, the pistachios were popular with the guys here at the yard. With our items in the cart, it was a surprise to discover the checkout line began at the entrance and wound all the way through the store. An hour later, we finally arrived in the checkout area where all 14 registers were operating at peak efficiency. It was an eye-opener into the thriving middle class of Hermosillo and the popularity of bulk purchasing. We were impressed with the patience and politeness with all who waited stoically in line. Even exiting the parking lot was an exercise in patience. Fast forward to New Year's Eve and preparing for the cruiser get-together. Lee did more of his Christmas season baking. His specialties are bourbon balls, fudge, and snickerdoodles, from a dog-eared family favorite in our collection of recipes. I made ponche, a Mexican holiday hot drink that features a combination of special small apples called tecajote. I think in English they are called hawthorn, guavas, apples, orange, sugar cane, jamaica, which are dried hibiscus flowers, prunes, raisins, tamarind, piloncillo are cones of raw cane sugar, and a stick of cinnamon, all boiled together. A delicious way to ring in the new year. As for here in the yard, the block wall that got blown down a year ago last summer has now been replaced, and Gabrielle has also installed a state-of-the-art camera security system with cameras everywhere. So much for taking solar showers in the cockpit. Over Christmas, it was quiet, but with the new year, there has been an influx of familiar faces, and the pace of boat splashing has picked up. It has been only recently that we have felt well enough to begin chores that should have been accomplished the first week we were here. Lee disassembled and greased all our bronze tapered coned seacocks, performing some serious boat yoga in the process. I polished and installed the dorades. The Starlink was mounted and the account reactivated. The varnished brightwork suffered much during our absence. The areas that received a little shade from the solar panels were in much better shape, and testimony to the harsh effects of summer sun. I am slowly scuffing and sanding the varnish on the cockpit combing. Here it is with 2 coats of new varnish, and will need at least another coat to start the season. And I love before and after pictures. Here's the cabin door on the left that has had its first coat of varnish. The one on the right still needs to be sanded and varnished. When all the teak surfaces have been varnished, it is a thing of beauty, but a lot of maintenance. Those of you who followed us last year know that Lee recoated our water tanks with Brew Coat epoxy. Upon inspection this year, the tanks look great, and this is the used filter from under the sink that served us last year. Prior to recoating, the old filters would be rusty brown. Suffice to say, we are pleased customers. In the last video, a viewer wondered if Blondie had grown camera shy. I would have to reply, definitely not. If she is around, she manages to insert herself somehow in the camera angle. However, recently she has been spending more time on the ground and therefore has less opportunities for stardom. Lee is making less trips up and down the ladder with her in his arms, but she is always on board at night for a comfortable snooze on the settee. Blondie is extremely happy to be back in the yard and in her native hometown. We too are enjoying our time here, so that means you will hear more about life here in the boatyard in the next video. So until then,